Here we are again. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles, and this time we're going to tackle the debut album from John Grant called Cleopatra, Queen of Denial.
It's not the name of it.
No, that's not the name of it. It's Queen of Hearts.
Patty Loveless or something.
Queen of Denmark.
Yes. No, I knew it wasn't Queen of Hearts. That's Juice.
All right. Yes, we will tackle that album. This will be the second album. This will be the first time we repeated an artist in our album reviews. The second album from John Grant. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Vinyl Community Guncles. We are Mike from Hub Tunes, Richard from Calvin Wazoo, Craig from Craig's Vinyl Plethora, and I'm Robert Fithen. Still sick. See how that works? Possibly COVID. Must be taking a long time to get over.
Did you put a Q-tip up your nose and do the thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think it's better to be a mystery.
Yeah, spread it around. Spread the love around. Spread
the
love around. Oh no, that's turn your love around, right?
All right, so we're starting off with Craig and his opinion of this album from 2010.
2010 debut of John Grant, Queen of Denmark.
Right, 14 years ago.
Yeah. What Pelgrim Ghosts is the next one that we reviewed, and that one I was surprised because there was a song that you didn't know. This one I was like, oh, I know that song. I'll get to it later. Who's TC with the Honey Bear?
Well, probably a lover.
Okay.
Or
TC and the Honey Bear. I mean, it's a cute little start. There's the little flutes going on. There's a screaming lady in the background. Woo! It's like, girl. And then the flute goes, fluty, flute, 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 flute. And then, whoa! But I mean, it's cute. Little Honey Bear song. John is angry or desperate or sad or very what is that word I'm looking for? He's a lot of things. He's brilliant. So yeah, that's a good starter. That Mars song made me hungry. He was talking cashews and tutti frutti and chocolate cake and all these champagne, and I was like, oh, I need a snack. I have to listen to that song. Then we have Where Dreams Come to Die. And I was like, well, this is kind of my jam. I regret the day your lovely carcass caught my eye.
I love that line. Oh, I love that.
Yes. I don't want to go track for track, but like the Sigourney Weaver one, I liked, Winona couldn't get her accent right, and neither could the other guy in the vampire movie. That Chicken Bones was kind of dancey. And it kind of had a little bit of I felt like almost like a slower version of like either like Take Your Mama from Scissor Sisters. I kind of felt that vibe a little bit. I do appreciate anyone who needs Calgon. Calgon, take me away. So, I mean, I do enjoy that. It's Easier was probably my favorite song on the record. You will not be swayed by me. You've made it clear. You must be free. It's like, okay, thank you. The JC hates faggots. There's some stuff in that. There's some stuff.
Yeah.
But the Jesus, he hates the Fruit Loops, son. I mean, Fruit Loops really aren't a very good, tasty cereal. I don't really enjoy Fruit Loops myself. So, I mean, I prefer like Lucky Charms or maybe Cocoa Puffs, but
Charms.
Fruit Loops are just a bad Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, or well, and so is Trix. I mean, I don't like any of that fruit flavored cereal. So give me I like s'mores cereals. Let's see. I liked the Caramel song a lot too. Although that outro, the end of the song was just really long. There was like 3 minutes added at the end that wasn't necessary, with no lyrics or anything, and just kind of went on. There's some fluty flutes. I don't know necessarily going on in that song, but in other songs we definitely have some fluty flutes. And Queen of Denmark, the title track, which is the final song on here. I don't know why I didn't register, but Sinead covered that song. It's on her why how about I be me and you be you, or whatever the name is that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Sinead covered it, so I was very familiar with her version of it, and I don't know why I didn't catch the album title and all of that, and I was like, why do I know this song? And then I looked it up, and I was like, oh yeah, because it's on the Sinead album. So it was enjoyable. Pale Green Ghost I like better. But it's good. It's a good debut. I really like his voice. I like his sarcasm. I like the way he puts certain words together that shouldn't go together, and certain wax poetically, I don't know, but not really poetically, because some of his lyrics you're like, what? But you made that work. It shouldn't work, but you made it work. And he's brilliant at that. So John, with his Queen of Denmark from 2010, gets 4 lovely rainbows from me.
Ah, interesting. Well, overall, I think this album was a really good effort for his debut. However, compared to his later, he gets better with his later album.
He does.
Progressively better. In fact, his newest album is really quite good. I don't have a copy of it yet, but I really would like to get that. So he gets better, I think, musically more so with his later albums. So lyrically, you know, he's got some really interesting things that go on with this record, but a lot of the melodies struck me as too familiar. Mm-hmm. And that I kind of got this feeling of he's letting the influence of other artists at the time carry over into his songwriting. He's got he's doing lyrically, he's doing well for the most part. There's a couple songs on here that I'm like, but musically, there's not a whole lot to me that stands out and is distinctive. And I keep hearing, like Craig was saying, I hear a lot of Scissor Sister in a lot of the songs. So I'm always kind of, because they're about the same time, you know. So I'm not sure who's influencing who. But like one of the songs that I really liked was Chicken Bones. I really like that song, but I kept thinking about Sundown by Gordon Lightfoot. I mean, the melody of that song just, I almost want to start singing Sundown while he's singing, you know, Chicken Bones. It's just, you know, he has some songs where the melody is just a little bit, not a little bit, in some cases a lot, reductive. But yeah, TC and Honey Bear is a good opener. And Mars, I love that song. It's very nostalgic of childhood. Apparently that was the name of a candy store that he used to go to. And yeah, the name of the proprietor was Mr. Mars or something like that. And I do love that line from Where Dreams Go to Die. I regret the day your lovely carcass caught my. I can relate to that song, and you know what's going on. But to me, things started to fall apart with Sigourney Weaver. I feel like it's kind of a tortured metaphor that was going on there. The choruses, I actually like the other verses. The song is autobiographical in that it talks about when he was recognizing him being gay and not knowing how to deal with it. That's kind of like the first verse. And then the family up and moved to Colorado. So I like that second verse. So where he sings, so I was taken or I went. I like that. So I was taken or I went towards what was west, to where the ground was dead and struck out at the giant sky. The sky was black and filled with tiny silver holes. And it was there with a frightened voice that I began to cry out loud. that stanza is so descriptive that I get what he's doing. I'm picking up what he's putting down, and I can relate to what's going on there. Chicken Bone I already mentioned. The Silver Platter Club comes off, he's just way too resentful for me with that. I think I like the idea of the song, but he just comes off as being whiny. I think he could have done that song in a little bit different way. Juxtaposing out, hey man, life is so easy for you, and then it's so difficult for me. But tell it from maybe a perspective of why is it so easy for you, as opposed to he chooses, and he does this a lot, the resentful route, the angry route, which works in some songs, but to me, it's easier. Craig, you like that song. To me, it was very plodding. I really didn't like that song. In Outer Space, I wrote down, this is just bad. It's, but then it picks up with Jesus Hates Faggots, because this is a song that he's singing to his father. So I do like that song. It's much stronger, and I like the way he's directing it at his father. And then Caramel comes up, and I'm like, who's this singing? It's like it's a completely different voice, that's coming across. It was like really weird how that changed, and it was an okay song. The Leopard and the Lamb, and it's another song about a bad breakup. To me, it wasn't all that effective. And the opening line to Queen of Denmark, it kind of turned me off right away. I want to change the world, but I could not even change my underwear. I mean,
Be careful.
okay, that's
sometimes it's hard.
What kind of songwriting is that? I mean, it I don't know. It just, so overall, I still think for his debut, it was a good effort. I think musically it's weak in a lot of places, but it's still an album, because I do like what John Grant does. It's an album I would add, to my collection of John Grant, because I know that progressively with each release, he's just getting better and better and better and better, at what he's doing. So this was a fine effort. I mean, he was in a band just before this. I can't remember.
He was in the Czars.
Yeah.
What was that?
He was in the Czars.
The Czars. Yeah. Okay.
Two albums.
So
I think they had like 6.
Yeah, they had like 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I thought they only had 2.
And an EP. I've never heard anything of theirs,
They're
but
good. They're really good.
yeah, so I do think this is a good solid effort, and as I say, I would pick it up and add it to my collection, but I'm only going to give it 3 rainbows.
Yeah, so I really like his voice. His voice is so natural, and it's so he sounds like a cross between Gordon Lightfoot and Justin Hayward. There's a lot of that in there. A lot of 70s. It gives a 70s vibe. The production, the voice, the singing style, a lot of it just screams 70s to me. But yeah, the first song was okay. The second one, though, really caught my attention. Mars with the piano riff and all that. Sounds like something out of almost like a horror movie or something. It's just this really wicked piano going on in that really sounds ominous, especially for being about a candy store. Sigourney Weaver, I did like the referential lyrics. I usually don't like things like that, but I for some reason I liked it when he did it. It was okay. I don't usually like songs where they're named after, the song is called Sigourney Weaver, and there was so much of that in the 90s and 2000s too. but maybe it's time to retire that whole idea. Chicken Bones is definitely a highlight. It's Easier was great. And it's wild because I did pick up the same line that Richard did about, I can't even change my underwear. I just thought that really brought down it's like, that's like something you'd read on a bumper sticker. I can't even change my life. I can't even change my underwear. It's like, come on. But most of this album I thought was terrific. And I actually enjoyed this more than I don't remember the first one we did. Whatever that one, Pale Green Ghost, was that what it was, where he's sitting at a table. But I remember it being pretty good. But I remember this one being like something like, wow, I need to get this. I think I did think that about the other one too, even though I never did get it, and I still don't have anything from him. But the guy's got to have he's got to come out with some better covers. The cover art of this is terrible. The cover art of another one I saw is terrible. I don't remember which that one was, but then don't the one where he's sitting at a table, you open it up and the gatefold is him like killing a chicken or something, or
is that Great Tickles?
Yeah, that's Great Tickles. Or yeah.
He does
killing some kind of animal or something.
And his eyes are like glowing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he does all his own artwork, all the album design, everything. It's all him. He's a photographer. He does it all.
I think the hate song is brilliant about how Jesus hates whatever you want him to hate. How convenient. You hate something, Jesus hates it too. It doesn't matter if it's a minority or Cocoa Puffs or the postman who you don't like. Well, Jesus hates him too. That really says it all. That's what I felt about that kind of thinking since I was a teenager and figured it out. Isn't that convenient that your supernatural savior agrees with everything that, it must be nice to have this supernatural force that's so almighty, literally, and powerful that agrees with everything you think. Wow. Must be great. But yeah, Jesus hates everything you hate. But yeah, Queen of Denmark, is okay except for that one underwear line, but I thought that the music on this was great. It's very simple. It does remind me of other things, but I couldn't actually pick something out like, oh, that's Sundown from Gordon Lightfoot, but I have to listen to that again and see if that's what I think. But I really overall, I mean, it didn't matter what the song titles were called, like Sigourney Weaver. It didn't matter what the music was borrowed from something else. I just really enjoyed listening to this. And so, yeah, I'm going to give it 4.5 rainbows.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I discovered John Grant. I think it was Pale Green Ghost was when I first discovered him, which is the next album, his second album. So this is his solo debut after he leaves the Czars. John Grant was born in Michigan. He lived there, and then, like Richard said, his family moved to Colorado, and soon he was off to Iceland. He lived in St. Petersburg. He's lived all over the world. He is a gay man. He is HIV positive. He got HIV from his partner, who he was with for 10 years, and he was pretty bitter about it at the beginning. I've always enjoyed John Grant because he kind of just speaks to me. So many of his songs I feel like he's singing right to me. He's an everyday gay man. He sings about everyday gay man stuff. He's not a clown or a stereotype that you see on Modern Family or Will and Grace, he's a real dude. And you hear it in his lyrics, and you're right. Some of his lyrics, you're like, that doesn't make any sense. But why does that go together? It works. I just adore him. And you're right, Richard. He is getting better and better. I mean, his album Love Is Magic, which I think is his third record, is his best. And he just keeps. I think he's getting better, and he's finally found a groove. That he's found an identity in his musical style. And he's left a lot of this style behind. I mean, he still does some great ballads, where the emotions are right there. He talks about real shit, and he's not afraid to, call people out. I don't know who TC and Honey Bear are. I would assume Honey Bear is him, but you don't know. The album has so much emotion. This TC and Honey Bear, I think, is a heartbreaking song. Absolutely heartbreaking. Mars, I love it. It's just it's about a candy store, and it has that cool sound. It's just got a great vibe to it. Where Dreams Die, Go to Die. That's a 70s song. I don't know where I've heard that song before, but I've heard that song so many times. But it's just beautiful. Sigourney Weaver, I love the imagery of it. I do like that song. It's not my favorite song on the record. Chicken Bones has a great video that goes with it. It's wild. It's weird. He did all the art direction on it. He does, like I said, he does all his artwork. I love Chicken Bones. I think it's just terrific. Silver Platter Club, not my favorite song on the record, but then It's Easier. It's Easier. It's just, man, he's singing that to me over and over and over. He has sung that song to me many times. Outer Space, great. Jesus Hates Faggots, probably one of the highlights on the album for me. Carmel, he's a wonderful piano player, an absolutely terrific piano player. Great song. Queen of Denmark, I really enjoy that. I did not know Sinead did that. Terrific song. Yes, the opening line is a little awkward, but it just flows right in. It's just I love this record. The backup band is the band Midlake from Denton, Texas. They are also the backup band on Pale Green Ghosts on a bunch of songs too. I love this. It's not my favorite John Grant. I think Love Is Magic is probably my favorite.
That cover is not good for Love Is Magic.
Oh, I love that cover.
Oh my gosh, the bird cage and the feather
so
and
great.
the
It's
terrible
so good.
underpants. Yeah.
I love it.
Not a good. I don't like that cover.
Oh my god, I love it. Pale Green Ghost is probably my favorite of his records. Maybe right there. I mean, those two records right there. I think he's really hit his high point. But this is great. I enjoy it a lot. I will give it 4 rainbows.
And the reason we reviewed that is because you didn't have an album prepared and you just turned around and reached to grab something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, that was. He's terrific, and that voice is just terrific.
He does have a really great voice.
Oh my god! And he can do anything with it. He can do a ballad. He can do a dance song. I mean, a lot of his songs on his newer records, there's some dance songs on there. I mean, he's all over the map now, and he does it really well. I just adore him.
All right. So how many rainbows is that?
15 and a half.
And what album are we listening to next?
Richard.
Well, all right.
Are you going to reach behind you?
No, I picked an album out, but then I found out that our next year that we're doing is the year that this album was released. So I have a backup option, but I want to go with this one, which is the year that we're going to be doing next, because we've been doing a series of albums, that are kind of similar in their feel, their vibe, their timbre, except for the Clash. When we did the Clash, that was something very different, and that's kind of what I want to do. I want to, let's go back, and I wanted to pick a record. So this is the one from 1971 that I wanted to go with, and that's Alice Cooper's Killer. Now, if we're doing 1971 and we need to do, and you think we might want to do another one, I have a backup.
No,
I'm okay with Killer. Yeah.
I've never heard that album, so
yeah, I'm totally fine with it.
You've never heard it? Oh my gosh.
You're not shocked by that though, right? I know Poison.
I'm not shocked by that.
I know Poison.
Oh my God.
And,
Poison.
And hell, No More Mr. Nice Guy and School's Out for Summer. That's about what I know about Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
All right, so Alice Cooper's Killer coming up. We're also going to review the tops and bottoms of 1971, maybe play another one of our wonderful games. I'll choose the next album after that. So all those things on the way as we continue our journey with the Vinyl Community Guncles, as the Vinyl Community Guncles with you. We are the Vinyl Community Guncles. I'm Robert Fitton, along with
Richard at Calvin Wazoo.
Craig's Vinyl Plethora.
And Mike at Hubtunes.
Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon.